All right, Nick. One out. Emilio Pagan coming in to close down the door. 2-0 on an opener game. Some are saying maybe we should do this more often. We got such a strong pen. Why not utilize it every night?
I don't know. These bullpen games, man, I've said it before, man. They tend to work. They get teams off balance. And
well, I'm not going to argue, especially after I've watched, the likes of the Reds relievers tonight go scoreless so far. I don't. The thing is, on this show, you can't get too over the top because ultimately you're still left with a chance that somebody blows it here, and then everybody blames you. So I don't want to do that. But so far, pretty solid effort.
I would say, regardless if Emilio Pagan blows the save or not, I would say that the bullpen game was overall a pretty smashing success.
Fair enough. I got a base hit. Don't know where you're at. We'll get synced up here at some point.
I'm watching on the Xbox tonight.
Okay.
Let's see. See if it. Oh yeah, it's behind too. All my devices get behind. I had to use like my 17th different account for a free trial for Guardians TV for the 3 days a year.
I forgot that you're fighting the fight right now.
Yeah, so I have an account that's on another TV on the side. I just didn't feel like unhooking the account to put it on for literally one game.
Understood. First time in the history of Chatterbox Reds, I may or may not be eating ice cream as I watch the ninth inning here.
We could do an ice cream ad if anyone's watching that. What
kind of ice cream do you like? Not brand. We won't do that, but flavor.
I'm a big like lime and orange sherbet kind of guy.
Okay, you're a sherbet.
Yeah, that or like if I go to Dairy Queen, I just want like a banana split blizzard. Just the classic.
We said no free ads, and he goes drops Dairy Queen on the second sentence.
I don't think Dairy Queen was going to sponsor us. So.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think they're hurting. But point is, did you say banana split?
Banana split, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. What about you?
I don't do banana splits. I feel like I'm like a 10-year-old. I'm a big cake batter, birthday cake guy.
I thought you were going to say Superman.
As many sprinkles as you humanly can get, I would take them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's pretty.
I don't think you can get enough sprinkles.
My daughter would be a big fan of your creations.
Hey, she knows best. 2 outs. Emilio Pagan. 2 strikeouts. For those that are keeping track at home, looking to maybe strike out the side. Some are saying. This is the guy you'd like to get out before you turned it over to the top of the lineup for the Guardians.
This guy, P.D. Halpin, you departed Arizona early in 2024, but for the prospect game, yes. Reds Guardians, this guy I'll never forget. He had like 50 people there to watch him for this prospect game. Every time he came to the plate, they were loud. They were having a great time. Watching P.D. Halpin, so
he had a big fan base.
Him. Yeah.
Well, maybe they made it to Cincinnati. Down to his last strike. Reds looking to split it. What'd you say?
He's from California, so maybe
far drive.
Yeah. Well, but Arizona's a lot closer than like Akron or Lake County, where their minor league teams are. He was still a prospect at that point.
What'd you just say? California is closer.
California to Arizona. The game was in Arizona. That's a lot closer than California to Ohio.
Yes, we agree there.
Yeah, so like if you had family, like making a trip to see him in a prospect game in Arizona is a lot easier than making a trip to. He was probably at Lake County at that point.
Understood. We're on the same page now. Average play by the ball boy. Pagan has He's worked up a sweat out there. I want to make it weird. Are we still doing the weird thing, Sadak? Come on, bro.
Interesting. I'm listening to the Guardians broadcast. I don't get the option of the Reds.
He's talking about how Pagan wanted to make it weird at the deadline.
Yeah, it's a good quote.
Yeah, I mean, what else are you supposed to say?
Quotes guy. I mean, I appreciate weird quotes. So interesting minor league action going on right now, Trace. So first off, you have the ACL Reds and the ACL Rockies in the decisive Game 3 of the League Championship Series. They were calling it the World Series, and they changed it on the official MLB MILB app. Oh, Jesus.
That's hilarious. They thought they had us. They thought they had us, and they didn't. Story of Cleveland's life. Halpin's pissed. Halpin thinks it's still a home run.
The Cleveland broadcast legit. I thought that ball was hit over the boat.
That's awesome. Dane Myers straight up just decided he was going to let that eat for just a second and then got fired up. I got to watch the replay before it wasn't even out of the ballpark. No disrespect. Good play by Myers. Appreciate the play, but I thought that ball was out of the ballpark, and ultimately it wasn't. So it was still a great play. We're not going to take it away.
Let's not forget. The dude just injured himself crashing into a wall and goes full speed into a wall again.
Yes,
make a play.
Hey, and Andy also, dropped a ball in Chicago that I haven't forgotten about a long time ago that we had to rectify. And it took us a while, Nick, but we got it done. Those wrongs have been righted in Chicago. Pagan with the save. Myers with the catch. Everything's great in Cincinnati. We'll be back in just a minute.
Johnny Bench has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep.
In the dirt, it's a wild pitch. Here comes Boston. The Reds win the pennant.
Larkins won the game. That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none. Welcome Joe Randa to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again.
Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Hatteberg's a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded. The outfield deep and around toward right. And the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on. Long drive. Right field. And this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive. Hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club.
Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb.
Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again.
The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive. Left center field. Racing back to the Laurent Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did!
right, Nick. Doubleheader. One in which we have, found ourselves finding a way to talk about both games. To be quite frank with you, I listened to most of the first game on the radio because it was during the day where most people work. Maybe not everybody, but most people. And then obviously watched a good majority of the second game. Reds find a way to win game 2, lose game 1. You find yourself in a split situation. Kind of ho-hum, I guess. Just kind of kick the can down the road here a little bit with the situation that the Reds find themselves in. But kind of fun. Fun little exciting ninth inning there, Nick. Kind of reminds you of like the good old days, maybe, of yesteryears.
Yeah, I mean, I would say overall pretty fun day of Reds baseball. I mean, even though they lost game 1, they came back from down 4-0 to take the lead. It was a pretty eventful game 1, and then game 2 you find a way to win a bullpen game, and the Reds now have a chance tomorrow to win their 4th straight series after the All-Star break, which just kind of seems crazy to say based on just how bad this team was going into the All-Star break. I mean, they limped as much as you could possibly limp into the All-Star break, and they've come back out and played much better baseball.
They have. They haven't played the world's greatest teams, but they've played better baseball. I think I'll give you that. They're 25-40 with teams with a record above 500 this year, so let's not get ahead of ourselves quite too much. But point is, it is nice to see them playing better. They got some pretty difficult opponents ahead of schedule. Be interested to see kind of how all that goes, and ultimately we'll see what happens at the deadline and what this team even looks like, and that's why it's probably most importantly just take it day by day at this point. Enjoy what you see in front of you and talk about it, and wait until tomorrow and talk about that one. So I don't know how we do these. I guess we do the box score recap. Are you really going to do a box score recap from game 1 and 2? Are you that crazy to do such a thing, or where are we going on a day like today?
Yeah, we got a double. We'll do a double all here at once. A little more condensed maybe than some earlier in the year. But yeah, we'll fire through this. We got 2 recaps here for you, and your box score recap, of course, is presented by our friends at Sharefax Credit Union. Sharefax is a not-for-profit financial institution that's owned by its members that returns earnings to them through lower fees and better rates in addition to traditional banking options. Sharefax Credit Union is an equal opportunity lender and insured by NCUA. All right, Reds taking on the Guardians, playing 2 games on Tuesday. Game 1 was a 1:40 start time. Chase Burns against Slade Ciccone. The Guardians loaded the bases with 2 outs against Chase Burns in the top of the first, thanks in large part to an error on second baseman Edwin Arroyo. Burns threw a 1-2 pitch up and in on Kyle Manzardo that was called a hit by pitch, which would have put the Guardians up 1-0, but the call would be overturned. However, later in the at-bat, Burns hung a slider, and Manzardo hit the ball out of the park for a grand slam 4-0 Guardians. Reds did fight back, though. Sal Stewart homered in the third. Then the Reds scored 4 runs in the fourth on RBI hits from Tyler Stevenson, Edwin Arroyo, and Sal Stewart to make it 5-4. But that lead didn't last long. The Guardians scratched across to run off Burns in the fifth on a sac fly to tie the game. Burns' final line, 5 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, only one of them earned, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Brock Burke, Pierce Johnson, and Chase Petty each threw scoreless innings of relief, but the Guardians scratched across another run on a safety squeeze against Sam Moll to take a 6-5 lead, and that would end up being your final score. Reds lose Game 1. Game 2, a 7-10 start time. Reds bullpen game against Guardians ace Gavin Williams. J.J. Bleday hit a solo home run in the bottom of the first to put the Reds up 1-0. In the bottom of the fifth, Dane Myers walked, stole second base, moved to third on Yvonne Johnson's first big league hit. Then he scored on a wild pitch to make it 2-0. The Reds did not get a whole lot of hits in this game. How about a total of 3? But that would be enough because the bullpen game worked to perfection. Caleb Ferguson pitched an inning in 2/3 scoreless. Julian Garcia, an inning and a third scoreless. Jose Franco, 3 2/3 scoreless. Now, Franco unfortunately had to leave the game injured. TJ Antone did what TJ Antone did, got 4 outs. Emilio Pagan made it interesting in the ninth, but he threw a scoreless inning, aided by a really nice catch up against the wall from Dane Myers to end the game. The Reds win 2-0. Reds get win number 50 on the season. Reds now 50-56. The Reds will lose a half game in the wild card race, regardless of what happens the rest of the night, because the Pirates and Diamondbacks are playing each other. So Reds are 5 games back with 4 games left until the trade deadline.
All right, the deep drive of the day comes off the bat of who else? Sal Stewart. 22nd of the year, 101 off the bat, 416 feet. That would give the Reds a 3-run deficit, trailing Cleveland 4-1. Win probability would be 21%, and unfortunately, as we all know, it would end up being 0%. But the deep drive of the day is brought to you by Braxton Brewing Company, the official craft beer partner of the Cincinnati Reds. Crack open a Ballpark Beer, a crisp German-style light beer crafted perfectly for 9 innings and hot summer nights. Grab a cold one at Great American Ballpark, Braxton Taprooms, or your local retailer. Braxton Brewing is brewed for Reds country. All right, game 1, Burns. Situation is what it is. I don't know what else to say outside the fact that you walk a guy. It's not ideal, but more importantly, you have an error and you walk a guy. Sometimes trouble looms. You kind of have like a weird situation, Nick, that you had mentioned in the box score recap where you challenge a pitch that, you know, you gotta give kudos where kudos is due. Pretty good acting skills. Ball clearly didn't hit him, so the call gets overturned, and then you hit a grand slam. And then it's almost like even in the group chat, I think Craig was like, "Well, can we have our challenge back and perhaps just let him go to first base?" It's one of the rare instances, I'm sure, that it would have actually been better off if we would have gotten hosed on the call than, you know, probably what ended up happening. But that was really the only flaw of the game. Outside of that, Reds played pretty well, pitched pretty well. Impressively, kind of made a pretty good rally there and a comeback. But overall, Burns, I look really not into it a whole lot with Chase Burns.
Yeah, it was a tough start for Burns. Obviously, that first inning, the air from Arroyo, he also should have got out of the inning, or a year ago he would have got out of the inning, had strike 3 called, and it got overturned. Good challenge by Bazana. It was a tenth of an inch off of the plate. He ended up walking. That ended up being a walk, and then led to the grand slam. Burns was really fighting it. I was also listening to this game mostly on the radio as well, and the Cowboy said, I think it was in the 3rd inning, he's like, if this wasn't a doubleheader, you'd be pulling Burns right now. That's how bad he thought he looked, and how maybe, I don't know if fatigued is the right word, but something of that nature. But he was able to kind of get through 5 innings. Obviously, you kind of had to have that today. But I think you're maybe starting to see a little bit of signs of fatigue with Burns. I don't want to go too overboard yet, but he's had a couple starts here. There was a good start mixed in, but he's had a couple starts here where you're starting to see, I think, a little bit of uncharted waters for him, which he's never pitched this deep, anywhere close to this deep into a season. Starting to catch up with him, I think, just a little bit.
Maybe so, but I think that same sentiment was said about Sal Stewart, about how, you know, the league finally caught up to him. Okay, well, he wasn't gonna have a 1,500 OPS for the entirety of the season, and then he had a little bit of a dry spell, and all of a sudden, magically, he's performing pretty well again. I think the same thing can be said about Burns. I'm not suggesting that there isn't some fatigue there. I'm not saying that he shouldn't get rest. I'm not saying that the Reds probably shouldn't pull the plug on him, because inevitably they're going to be playing meaningless games here at some point in the near future, in my opinion, and you don't really want to have him going out there every 5 days when he doesn't really have to, especially when you've already exceeded the amount that he's ever pitched in his life. That said, I'm not looking that far into all of this. I think it's one of those things where you run into a little bit of unfortunate luck in the first inning when you have to throw 30 plus pitches in an inning, especially the first one. I don't think it bodes well to have longevity in any game, even if you feel great before you get in there. Which is all that more important as to why making plays in the field matters. And unfortunately, they didn't do that, and they paid the price for it. And I think that it was nice to see, though, the bounce back from the offense. If you want to jump into that briefly, you have an inning where it wasn't so much the long ball that immediately made things become tight. You get kind of back-to-back doubles, and you get another base hit, and all of a sudden, you're in a spot where you look up, and what was 4-0 now is a 2-run game with a guy on second base and nobody out, and it kind of felt like just a completely different vibe. You rally all the way back, and ultimately you give up the lead, yes, and you wind up losing. But I guess from a positive perspective, it was nice to see some guys have some success at the plate and find a way to actually pass the baton, which we've talked about many times. It's hard to do that in this league with the pitchers anymore. And it's something that the Reds really have struggled to do for the entirety of this season. And quite honestly, like as we've watched them as a whole, they've not really been able to pass the baton a whole lot. It's maybe a guy here gets a hit and a guy walks there and then you get a 3-run home run, but you don't really get an inning like what I thought we saw today where you kind of stack hits on top of each other and you find a way to tie the game. So anyway, I don't know what all of it means on a daily basis, as we said before, but Tyler Stevenson continues to look decent. That's good, and we'll see if that helps the Reds or hurts the Reds. I don't know, but as you said, you're willing to take it all the way up to the deadline. I would think that the Reds should be aggressively trying to find some kind of deal as soon as humanly possible.
I think they should be aggressive. I just don't think they should settle. Yeah, I mean, if someone's going to pay you, you think it's the best deal, to make it right now. Don't wait.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice to see this team fight back. This team hasn't really fought back in a lot of games. There has not been a whole lot of comeback games. There hasn't been a whole lot of the 2023 Reds. We haven't seen that hardly at all this year. I don't want this to get lost. TJ Friedl stinks, man. My God, I do not want that to get lost. I mean, 3 pop-ups today, 0 for 4. Guys hitting $167 with a 505 OPS. Like, I'm fine if you want to play him up until the trade deadline and see if maybe someone would take him and pay a
no chance
10th of his salary. But he should be DFA'd after the trade. What is the point of him playing out the rest of the season?
I don't know. I mean, I've been asking Nick. Like, here's the thing. I don't even want to do the TJ Friedl thing because it feels like I've beaten a dead horse with that situation. I've been calling this for a very long time, and for whatever reason, he's the one guy that seems to get opportunities at nauseum. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how poorly he performs. He kind of still finds a way to get in there. Now, this has nothing to do with other people that have played the outfield for the Reds. I'm specifically talking about TJ Friedl. There are so many players in this organization that have never gotten that loyalty that it's just confusing. That's all. Leave it for what it is. It's just confusing. It's kind of interesting to jump to another point here. I don't know if you want to keep going down the Friedl thing. It's kind of a lost cause at this point, but it's kind of interesting that Larkin mentioned what he said about Marte in his final at bat in Game 2. I don't know if you got a chance to hear it or not, but I'll paraphrase if you didn't. Essentially, he was talking about how Sadak had said that he's kind of been a hot and cold player, and unfortunately, that's just been all too often. And then Larkin kind of defended him, which was kind of unique. Like, I don't think I've ever heard Larkin kind of do this, where he said, well, it's kind of hard to be consistent when you don't get a chance to play every single day. And when he got a chance to play every single day down in Louisville, he was working on things. And you could see the kind of the fruit of his labor on working on things to where he started to become a little more consistent. Now, one would argue that's the pitching down there, and everybody looks great at AAA. But he kind of made mention that it's hard to make an adjustment and then sit for 2, 3, 4 days and then get back in the box and still have that adjustment be something you're comfortable with continuing to do. More times than not, he said that when you take time off, you revert back to your habits or older habits that maybe got you in the mess in the first place, and it's hard to kind of build on top of each other. And I thought that was interesting that he said that. I'm not saying that he was like demeaning the organization or the way they went about maybe handling him to a certain extent, but kind of in the same vein of the TJ Friedl loyalty thing, like Marte has been a disappointment. I think it's fair to say he's been a disappointment based off of what we'd all hoped, especially when you harken back again. We keep using the word 2023 on the show far too often, but he's a guy that unfortunately feels like we're still just in limbo with. Like, I can't, on one hand, Nick, I'll be honest, I think Marte's just another guy that's just not going to ever pan out. It's going to wash away like Matt McLean to a certain extent. And then on another hand, every so often, he's like, wow, this guy's got some pop. He looks like a legitimate big league hitter. he has a plan about him every so often, but then there's times where he has no plan. I don't know. It just feels weird that Friedl gets as much run as he gets when you have a bunch of other guys that seemingly don't get that opportunity. That's all.
Yeah, I don't think Marte was ever set up for success this year. The first 10 games of the year, he literally was in the lineup, out of the lineup every other game. Played 5 of the first 10 games. Like, he was not set up for success this year. Again, the Friedl thing, I think it's important, though, to talk about right now, because I think there needs to be some sort of accountability here with this. Again, I was fine with if you wanted to play Friedl here in this spot up until the trade deadline, hoping and praying he could get hot, and someone would say, hey, we'll take him, we'll pay a 10th of his salary the rest of the year. That's fine if you want to save some money. But if this guy is still on the Reds roster on August 1st, there's not a whole bunch of injuries, and you didn't blow up the whole team. Like, okay, if you trade 7 players and you want to keep TJ Friedl around, that's fine. But if this guy's still playing, getting any starts after August 4th, that's one of the worst things this organization could do, because he's getting non-tendered at the end of the year. There's no possible way. He could be the NL Player of the Month in September, and you're not going to tender him a $5 million contract next year. So there is no point in playing him. Play some of these other guys in your system that, like, even Von Johnson. Is Von Johnson a dude? Probably not. But I'd at least like to give him a chance, because he's a guy that you can be shipped up and down next year. There's just no reason why after the trade deadline, Friedl's still around. There's just none whatsoever.
All right. Well, we'll see. I mean, I've said that Friedl really doesn't have a spot on this team for a long time, and I hate that it's become that. I hate that it's kind of gone as south as fast as it has with TJ Friedl. But it also goes to show or tell me that this, again, whether it's front office, development, scouting, they've got to be better, and they've got to know that, hey, like, the guy that's in our system right now is not as good as everybody else thinks that he is, and we should. Again, I'm asking them to be perfect. I get it, but I am openly saying that if the CBA doesn't change anything, which hopefully it obviously does, but if it doesn't change anything, the only way to be successful in MLB as a market size of the Reds is to not miss on your own talent and your own prospects and knowing what you have. And if you're able to flip guys before the rest of the league figures out what you have, you're probably better off for it. And obviously, TJ Friedl's already ran its course, and it's a lost cause at this point. So, all right, go ahead.
One other just quick thought just on the first game before we wrap that up. On Burns, this is just the only thing that to me is really showing the fatigue. He's walked 12 batters in 21 innings in July. If he was giving up some home runs and stuff, I'd be like, yeah, that's just, I wouldn't say regression, but just, figuring it out. But he has walked a lot more. He's walked quite a few hitters over the last 4 starts. And even before that, he had one really good start where he didn't walk any batter against Pittsburgh, although he gave up 9 hits. That was that really weird start where he gave up 9 hits and struck out 10 batters. But the 2 starts before that, he walked 3 in just 5 innings. So he is starting to his command's been a little shaky. So I just think that's something to monitor. And I imagine they'll probably start getting creative with him here in the near future.
I think it's obvious he's going to get shut down relatively sooner than later. I don't know when, but as soon as they sell and it's pretty evident that they don't have a chance at all, I think they'll make that move. All right, game 2.
They might skip some starts. They might do some skipping starts and some manipulation. I could see that.
To be honest, I think I'd just rather shut them down if that's what we're trying to do. The only reason I say that is because I would be of the mindset. And again, I'm not a doctor, certainly not a scientist. Everybody would know that if I'm a scientist, things would be really bad. But point is that in the way that I just perceptualize the way pitching would go is that I don't think it's in a guy's best interest to shut down for a month or 2-3 weeks at a time and then go back into super live game action. I would just rather be hey, we're gonna shut you down. You can throw some simulated bullpens, that's fine. Go out and throw 2-3 innings of a simulated bullpen. That way you also don't put yourself in a really tough and weird spot where if he were to go out there and have an inning like he did today what do you do? I mean, you have to go out and get the guy out in the game one of a doubleheader. Now, I guess if you don't care about winning and losing, then who cares? But you got to go out there and you got to relieve him in the first inning in a situation like that. I'd rather move on, make sure he's healthy heading into 2027 if there is a 2027, of course, which I think there will be. Just it's going to be short. But we'll talk about that another time. Bullpen, game 2. You had mentioned in the box score recap, obviously very, very, very good. They go out, they hold Cleveland completely scoreless, and really you should walk away from this feeling great, and I think you still do, but you're 5 feet away from Pagan blowing it, I guess, would be the only pessimistic outlook on it all, and or the fact that Garcia gets hurt, and unfortunately, I don't know, seems like it could be serious, Nick. I know they said, right elbow stiffness, which usually will later be an MRI and possibly a word that kind of usually goes with TJ. I hope I'm wrong.
I hope it's just one of those, I'm getting sit down. I'm going to get myself some service time here. That was the first thing I thought.
That would be a big league move, but I don't think that.
There's been a lot of pitchers do that. There's been a lot of pitchers do that have come out and said they did it later after the fact.
Really?
Oh yeah. I mean, you never heard of that?
Impressive. No, I mean, I didn't know that we were getting.
I mean, you're about to get sent down. I mean, you probably get a kind of a black eye around the organization for doing that. But yeah, I mean, you still get service time if you get hurt while you're on the big league roster.
I said Garcia and I meant Franco, I believe, right?
I just assumed you were talking about Franco.
Yeah, sorry.
Franco's the one who got hurt. But he did pitch really well. He's an interesting pitcher. I don't think he's been spectacular, but he also hasn't been bad, and he's kind of been used in some
it's like a mop
unorthodox roles.
Yeah. Not at all times. Not at all times, but
he pitched in some big games where he came in the 4th inning of a tie game, or and helped. But he started. He's relieved. He's been a starter his whole career. I don't think he had ever pitched in the bullpen before this year, and he's done a pretty nice job. Garcia's also done a really good job this year. He's a guy that I'm intrigued with here as the second half goes on to see if he can kind of keep this up. He's been great all year. He was great at AAA. He's kind of like that Fernando Cruz mold where he's kind of got a trick pitch, came from indie ball, and hey, you might be able to turn that into something. But TJ Antone though is the story, man. Probably the most exciting thing just to watch, and he keeps doing it. You keep the back of your head, he's due for one bad game at some point. He just keeps doing it every single night, and he's doing it in a lot of big spots. Shout out to him, man.
Yeah, incredible. I actually, I shouldn't say mop-up role. Maybe more of what Suter was to a certain extent for this team.
He kind of has been
kind of like a Swiss Army knife, a Swiss Army knife kind of guy where you got to go and do a bunch of random things. So feels like he's not overly important. But I guess to get back to Antone, I actually thought there for a minute when he came out with the elbow or whatever that little wristband situation is, I guess that a lot of guys are using when they warm up. I was thinking of all the guys that we have to try to call out of the pen to kind of not rush, but you got to kind of rush to get ready and throw. It was of all the guys, Antone's the last guy that I want to have to do that in case something happens. Then it's oh my, everybody's going to blame it on the fact that he had to kind of come in out of the blue. But he to your point, he's just been hand up way better than I ever thought humanly possible. I thought this guy was going to be it's a good story, not a very good arm anymore. Not true. And to his credit. In fact, the last time that he went down, I even think I told my wife, I was like, you know what? He can do whatever he wants. He's a grown man, but to be honest with you, man, it's at some point he needs to he needs to think about his future a little bit. When he's 50 years old, he's going to have to probably want to be able to utilize that elbow and that arm a little bit. You keep getting Tommy Johns at some point. I think that, the ramifications of this down the road are not going to be great. I thought there was 0% chance he gets back to the big leagues, and let alone be as effective as he's been. So it just goes to show you, man. Just you don't. All you gotta do is listen to your inner self. You don't have to worry about whatever other people say. It's a mute point. And if you focus on what you can do, that's all that matters. And that's what he's done. And he's been unbelievable. I mean, TJ Antone's the story, maybe the story outside of like Sal Stewart, like the story of the Reds 2026 season of all things. I mean, yeah, Elly's great, and I get it. And Chase Burns has been awesome. He was the number 2 pick. He's been great his whole entire career. You want a soft human interest story, maybe Antone takes the cake. I don't know. But, all right. Let's see. We got some supers, Nick. We're going to do them right now. Thank you to everybody that's tuned in here. The fact that we have this many people in here for a team that's, 5 or 6 games under 500 is unbelievable. And we thank you very much. Like the stream if you haven't. That'd be even better. Trajan Garvey says, I missed the combo of Nick and Trace. Thank you. We'll be here as often as we can. We'll see. We all have things we have to do from time to time. But, hey, I like doing shows with everybody. But obviously when myself and Nick are on, we've been doing this so long together that, sometimes it's just a little easier. That's all. Nate Seltzer, member for 28 months of Nutcutter Nation. Nate, thank you, my friend. He said the Guardians, just all caps, by the way. The grandpa, all caps, feels like he's super mad just pecking at the keyboard. The Guardians just got Dane Myers'd. Everyone clown the Dane trade. Dane will run through a wall for this team. He's done that twice or more now, by the way. Also, Barry Larkin likes homers now. Shock me. Listen, Dane Myers, he plays hard out there in center field. I mean, you can't say he hasn't. You can't say he hasn't played hard. Feel like, unfortunately for him, he's a good defender out there. He's been a good defender out there. The issue ultimately lies with the fact that he did make a misplay on a ball that wasn't an easy play in Chicago that so many people wrote him off for about his defensive capabilities that he had to live with that for a while, or we had to live with the fact that we just can't talk about how good defensively he is at times, and he made a good play today. So shout out to
Also worth pointing out, Ethan O'Donnell, really nice guy. Enjoyed getting to hang out with Ethan a while back. Not having a good year, hitting 221, 642 OPS in the minor leagues. So that's looking like, so far, a very good trade for the Reds.
There you go. Vandy, 5140 says, still waiting for Friedel to do anything. Yeah. Stuck in a bucket, I think is probably what it means or what it says. Says, as a Dayton native, I'm a sucker for any ex-Dragon players, but even I'm tired of seeing Friedel sent out for seemingly no reason. Sending him to the minors would be in Friedel's and the team's best interest. My favorite thing about this from Stuck in a Bucket is we've spelled Friedel twice now. So you can't say it was an accidental typo. We've spelled Friedel twice now. Ready? Friedel. Friedel. Is that what he meant, by the way? He's fried? Could be a play on words. Could be a play on words. I shouldn't say he misspelled it. I don't know.
I was just thinking my guy Sim over it. He's not even going to type. He doesn't even care
Could
about
be,
typing.
Right. I think I'm going to give him some credit here and say that he meant to say that Friedel. He's fried. Cooked, some are saying. Anyway. That's what I got. You got Richter and Phillips, Nick. That's your job, not mine. But I do know that if you are looking to possibly get things a little more serious, Nick, just a little more serious, some are saying there's one place to go.
Yeah, Richter and Phillips now has first look appointments, an appointment designed for people just starting out their engagement ring journey. You can try on engagement rings in person, compare styles, ask questions, and learn at your own pace with a dedicated jewelry specialist. Perfect for shopping solo or with your partner. They're available on Thursday evenings when they're open late, between 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Book on Richter Phillips' website. The link is in our podcast description. Shout out to Richter and Phillips.
All right, and as always, we have Reds MILB. I know this. It is Tuesday. Is it Tuesday or Wednesday at this point? I don't know at this point, but that means there's baseball being played. And you had said to start the show off, we have some big-time games. Some are saying even World Series games, Nick.
Yes, we do have some games. Fortunately, not everything's really gone final, so we don't have a really good rundown. But if you listen to the podcast, I'll be sure to get that up for you. I'll run through a few things here. We had a couple games literally just go final. Louisville lost 5-4 to Indianapolis. Everyone had to pitch a lot more in this one because Jose Franco was supposed to start this game. So Connor Phillips, Luis May, and Zach Maxwell each had to go 2 innings. Phillips gave up a run, walked 2 batters. May gave up a run, walked 2 batters. Zach Maxwell, the only guy who pitched well, 2 innings, did not give up a run, struck out 3, only walked 1 batter. Hunter Parks, his struggles continued after a really great start to the year. He gave up 3 runs, walked 3 more batters. Matt McClain was 2 for 4. Hector Rodriguez is his 25th home run of the year. Carlos Jorge had a nice day, 2 for 4. Stole his 29th base of the year. Chattanooga is currently losing 11-4 to Birmingham in the bottom of the 7th. They were actually getting no hit into the 7th, but they've come alive. Alfredo Duno, 1 for 3 with a double. Cam Collier is 1 for 3. Over in Dayton, the Dragons currently trail Quad Cities 8-5. That is in the bottom of the 8th inning. Let's see. John Michael Fail, shout out to him. He had a home run. Jean-Pierre Ortiz, a Reds top prospect, 4 1/3 innings. He gave up 2 earned runs in that one. Doesn't look like there's anything else of note. Tyson Lewis 0 for 4 at the moment. He has homered in 3 straight games entering today. The Daytona Tortugas, another win for them. They won 11-3 over someone. They don't put the names of the teams over Bradenton. The Marauders, is that how you say their name? But a big win nonetheless for our Daytona Tortugas, who currently have a 1.5 lead now for a playoff spot. Bernard Moon hit his 9th home run of the season. Arnaldo Lantigua was 1 for 5. Ichiro Kano stayed hot, 2 for 3. All right, the big one, the granddaddy of them all. They're in the bottom of the 5th out in Arizona. The ACL Reds are locked in a 1-1 tie with the ACL Rockies. This is game 3 of the ACL Championship Series. So far in this one, Hansel Jimenez has both of the ACL Reds hits. He is a top prospect, and one of those was a home run. So shout out to him. And then another top prospect, Iker Radona, is actually starting this game. He's gone 4 2/3 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, so he's pitching well. And last but not least, we did have Dominican Summer League action earlier today. The DSL Reds beat up on the DSL Padres 19-6. DSL Reds now 24-16. Angel Salio was on base 3 times, 2 for 3 with a double and a walk. Eider Gutierrez, 2 for 3 with a walk. Liberty Aponte, he's the Reds' number 7 ranked prospect, has been out of the lineup the last 4 games, still listed on the active roster. Not sure what's going on there. And I am for sure going to butcher this guy's name, but I shouldn't because he's been incredible. Yasius Escalona went 5 innings, gave up 1 run, 0 walks, and 6 strikeouts. He was an all-star on the Dominican Summer League. He's got a 0.74 ERA in 48 1/3 innings pitched, 46 strikeouts, just 13 walks. He actually allowed his first ever professional home run on Tuesday, 74 innings. He's only allowed 1 professional home run. So shout out Mr. Escalona. The DSL Rose, they fell 13-4 to the DSL Brewers Gold. Angel Nunez walked twice, stole his 20th base of the season. Carlos Hernandez was 1 for 4. And of course, your Reds MILB report is presented by our friends at 78 Cigars. Cincinnati legend Anthony Munoz has a new venture, and we're fired up to partner with it here on Chatterbox Reds, introducing 78 Cigars, a premium cigar line from the Hall of Famer himself. If you love great cigars in Cincinnati football history, well, this is the perfect combination. You can grab 78 Cigars right now at both Montgomery Inn locations or over at Creekside Cigar Company. You can also check them out online. Just head to anthonymunoz.com, click on the 78 Cigars page, and learn more or place your order today. That is 78 Cigars from the greatest offensive lineman to ever do it, Anthony Munoz.
All right, more baseball to be played. Some are saying it's a huge game, the granddaddy of them all. You just mentioned it. Tomorrow, Nick, you know what it's for. It's for the Cup, baby. This is it, once and for all. Game 3 rubber match.
Yeah, the Reds could split the Ohio Cup with a win, which if you split and you won the year before, you get to hold the cup, which the Guardians were elite at that. They kept splitting every other year, and they had won the last time. So the Reds need to do that. Let's drag this out a little bit longer. Reds have a tough matchup against the lefty Joey Cantillo. Rhett Lauder looking to bounce back. Not bounce back, actually looking to continue. Pitched pretty well his last time out against the Cardinals. Went 5 innings, just gave up 1 hit and 2 runs. That was by far, I think, the best outing we've seen from Lauder in a while. So hopefully he can build off that, and the Reds can get a series win. 7:10 start time. No day games this week. They are all 7. Well, actually, Friday is 6 o'clock, but they're all night games all week.
Nice. Well, I one can appreciate that. One can appreciate the night games. The day game, getaway day thing, thankfully doesn't take place. You got the Pirates coming to town right after that. Of course, heaven forbid, we have tomorrow, believe it or not, the Ohio Cup is such a big deal, Nick, that we don't even have a promotion going on tomorrow. Can you believe that? No promotion. No nothing. You just go to the ballpark to watch a game. Who'd have thought? No tarps off. No Thirsty Thursdays. No fireworks. No bobbleheads. No posters. Just baseball. Just good old clean baseball. We'll take it. All right, folks. We'll be back here tomorrow live in the 9th inning. As always, we'll do our best to continue to be somewhat informative, somewhat entertaining, and Nick has a final word for everybody.
Yeah, Bengals training camp begins tomorrow. Chatterbox Bengals guys going all out with Bengals content this year. Check out Chatterbox Bengals everywhere you get podcasts, and then all the stuff on YouTube. If you could do us a really big favor, those of you who've been loyal to us, go to Chatterbox Bengals podcast feed, leave them a 5-star review, and just like their videos that they post. Their guys are putting a lot of work into it, hoping to kind of grow that like we've kind of grown Chatterbox Reds. We really would appreciate that.
No doubt. I think we're going to make a pretty big emphasis on that, and we're going to make some announcements, or at least some conversations here in the upcoming weeks, just about kind of what we see, our plans, and what we hope to try to do at Chatterbox. So that said, we look forward to doing that, but more importantly, we have some more business to get to tomorrow. Until then, take care, everybody. So long. And Nick has one more final word.
Brady Singer's pitching tomorrow, not Rhett Lauder. They changed that. It is Brady Singer. Brady Singer, this is will be his probably his final start in a Reds uniform. Because So it is. Thank you in the chat. Whoever pointed that out. Yeah, Brady Singer tomorrow, not Rhett Lauder.
Well, it'll be fixing the podcast nonetheless. That's why you listen to the podcast. Yeah. All right, folks. I think this is the final time. I'm going to sign us off. Take care, everybody. Until next time. Nick has no more final words. We'll see you tomorrow.